Our next speaker is Corey Lerch, who's the 2019 District 37 Evaluation Contest second place winner. And here's a little bit about Corey. Corey is a private tutor from Raleigh who teaches almost any subject to students of all ages. He's been in Toastmasters for 7 years, belongs to In Good Company Toastmasters, and holds 3 consecutive championships in the District 37 Evaluation Contest. He absolutely would not have been anywhere near as successful if not for the wonderful people he's met in Toastmasters along the way, all of whom have gone above and beyond to help him improve as a speaker, a professional, and as a person. He's excited to be here and speak today in hopes of sharing some of the knowledge that his fellow Toastmasters have shared and helped him develop over the last 7 years. So everyone, please give a very warm welcome to Corey Lerch. And Corey, do you want to share your slides or do you want me to?
I'll do it just for simplicity.
Thank you.
So let's see.
I think someone has to unshare me.
I think I grabbed it.
Great.
That's not it. Where's the start button? This is what rehearsal is for. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, we ready to go? That deafening silence, I'll assume, is a yes. Thank you, Tony. My name is Corey Lerch, and I am a 3-time consecutive winner of the District 37 Evaluation Speech Contest, and most recently, runner-up. I'm also the many-time undisputed loser of a lot of other contests. I've been told you learn the most from your failures, so by this point, hopefully, I'm pretty dang good at this thing. But regardless, whether by success or failure or some combination thereof, hopefully I have some helpful insights today to share with you guys about what's led to my success in the evaluation contest and contests in general. I'd like to talk about 3 aspects of competition today: attitude, speech writing, and improvement. With attitude, someone much smarter than me taught me that if you have a goal, you should not focus primarily on the goal itself, because you usually don't have direct control over whether or not you accomplish that goal. Instead, you should focus on the absolute latest part of the process, the last possible milestone that you can directly control, and trust that if you achieve that milestone to the best of your ability, the goal will eventually follow. Even if it doesn't, even if you get to where you're competing on the world stage and somebody has to lose, by doing this, you give yourself the best chance to achieve your goal and you accomplish the most along the way, even if you don't win. For example, if I have a big test coming up in school, I can't control exactly what questions will be on that test. I can't control if I'll get a perfect score or even ace it or pass it, but I can ensure that I show up as well learned, as well prepared, and as well rested as possible. If I'm hunting for a job, I can't control whether or not a particular company decides to hire me. I can control how many applications I submit, how high quality those applications are, and how well prepared I am for each interview. And if I'm competing in a Toastmasters speech contest, I can't control how the audience reacts or what the judges decide. I can make sure that my speech is written as well as possible, delivered as skillfully as possible, and as entertaining and interesting and valuable a message as possible to my audience. If I do those things, more often than not, I'll win the contest. Or as I eventually reach the division or district or even world finals, not only will I be giving myself the best possible chance of winning, this attitude will make me the best speaker and lead to the best possible performance I could possibly give. If you want to win a speech contest, don't focus on the winning, focus on the latest milestone that you can directly control, which is giving the best possible speech that you can. And this attitude is what leads to what I call next level performance. When I first started competing, especially in the evaluation contest, I was trying to do what everybody else was doing better than they were. And I did okay. I'm a decent speaker. I got to the division level several times, but I kept losing. And so I said, okay, let me stop focusing on winning. Let me take my mentor's advice. and let me start focusing on giving the best possible evaluation I can. That led me to start asking questions. Why are we giving evaluations this way? Why do we use the sandwich format? Why do we use so many qualifiers? Why do we treat an evaluation speech different? Why do we structure it differently than a regular prepared speech? And those questions led to principles that I built upon and imbued into my evaluations. And they led to an entire new personal style recipe of evaluation that when I competed with it, I frequently got the feedback, not that I was a better speaker than everybody else, but it was like I was in a different contest. I was giving a fundamentally different and more interesting, more valuable speech. And the results followed. If you compete in a speech contest, even if your goal is to win, don't focus on the winning. Focus on delivering the best speech and being the best speaker that you possibly can. Number 2, speech writing. I'm not going to talk about delivery today because we talk a lot about delivery in Toastmasters, the vocal variety, the movement, the body language, all that's important. You've gotten lots of feedback on that and probably will get lots of more good advice from my fellow speakers today. Let's talk about what comes before the delivery, writing the speech, and specifically 3 principles: humor, organization, and content. Humor. I've noticed one very clear and important trend. It doesn't matter which contest you're in, prepared, semi-prepared, completely impromptu, the speaker who makes the audience laugh first and laugh most usually wins. It puts the audience at ease, it makes the speaker seem capable and likable, and it just makes the speech more enjoyable to experience. Now, I'm sure many people have the same problem I do, which is that I'm not inherently funny, not particularly good at humor. But I recommend self-deprecation. It's always easy to make fun of yourself, and it also makes you seem humble in front of your audience. Now, that doesn't mean criticize yourself. We've all been there when people throw a pity party. That's not funny. But it means that you just laugh at yourself. Like, oh, I don't know how many speech contests you've lost among the few that you've won. Remember that first line from my speech? Tell me that didn't break the ice, make everyone seem more comfortable, make me seem like I didn't have a huge ego that hopefully hasn't revealed itself yet. The speaker who makes the audience laugh first and laugh most usually wins. Number 2, organization. We've all been in the audience when a speaker finished speaking and we immediately thought, what was his or her point? Don't be that speaker. I don't care if it's a prepared speech, a semi-prepared speech, completely impromptu, doesn't matter. Every good speech has a crystal clear message, and good speakers state that message as clearly as possible in their introduction, in their conclusion, and in connection to every major point they make. Good speakers also have crystal clear organization. They tell their audience what to expect, they emphasize each point as it's made, and they connect it back to their message and summarize at the end. Good speakers are organized. Be a good organized speaker. And number 3, content. I've seen many incredible speakers, far more talented than me, lose contests because of weak content. Now, my own area of expertise is in evaluations. And in evaluations, good content means good feedback. In evaluations, your feedback is your content. Good feedback has 2 characteristics. It is as specific and as easy to use as possible. What does that mean? Specific means you tell your listener exactly why you think what you do. For example, instead of, you could use more vocal variety. Say, at this point in your speech, when you're reaching the climax of your story, this is the point to use vocal variety to drive your message home. And second, you make that feedback easy to use, which usually means you tell them exactly what they can change. Don't just say it's at this point in your speech, the climax of your story. Okay, what do I do? Well, at this point, pause, lower your voice, draw your audience in. Then, when you're ready to deliver the climax, let your voice return, turn up the volume, and let them remember what you had to say. Now, that doesn't mean my listener, my evaluatee, has to follow my advice to the letter, but it's always easier to adapt a suggestion than to invent your own solution based on vague feedback. So good feedback is as specific and as easy to use as possible. By the way, those are some of those principles that I talked about that came out of this be the best evaluator I can be attitude that led to my success. We've talked about attitude. We've talked about speech writing. Number 3, improvement. Nobody writes a world champion speech in one draft. Even if you're impromptu or semi-prepared, nobody gives a championship performance on their first try. If you want to win a speech contest, you will have to improve from your first contest and from where you are now dramatically. Now, here's the not so secret about improvement. It requires dramatic change. I can't tell you how many incredible speakers I've seen, speakers that are way more talented than me, that plateau because they keep practicing the same things over and over again. They keep trying to perfect what they have instead of creating something better. Now, don't get me wrong, practice is essential. You have to master your craft. But if you always practice the same speech or the same skills, then you will only be as good as the best version of that speech or those skills. If you want different results, better results, you have to change your actions. That's how we improve. That's how you grow. That's how you get to that next level, by changing your actions for the better. We've already talked about the attitude component of motivating that improvement. But how do you actually do it? After all, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Get good mentors, get good feedback, and then actually do something different. Get good mentors means find good speakers who are good at giving feedback to give you advice. Getting good feedback means regardless of how good the feedback you're given is, now that you know what good feedback is, now that we've talked about it, you can help your mentor give you good feedback. You can ask, hey, what specifically made you give me that feedback? What part of my speech? Okay, and make it easy for me to use it. What do you suggest that I do differently? Then do it differently. At least try it. In the process of trial and error, you will learn where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what works and what doesn't, and you will change and improve. You have to be willing to make changes based on that feedback. It's the hardest part. We all know, myself included, how easy it is to seek out feedback, listen very carefully, then pat yourself on the back and keep doing the things you've always done. Don't. If you want to improve, you have to change. Attitude, speech writing, and improvement. Attitude meaning focus on the latest milestone that you can directly control, and then let your attitude take you to the next level of performance. With speech writing, work on your humor, be organized, and focus on providing high quality content. And last, make sure you're always improving. Get good mentors, get good feedback from those mentors, even if you have to help them give it, and then use that feedback to do something different. That's what's led me to my success, and what I hope will lead me to more success in the future, as well as the rest of you. Back to the Zoom master.